Okay, I think you're fine. Yes, good evening, sis. We're live now. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to this evening's session. Would like to apologize for the delay due to it's due to some technical issues. Welcome back. I hope you've been enjoying the sessions so far. And today is another amazing session. Yesterday, what causes childhood trauma? How does it impact us as adults? How can we, heal from childhood trauma? Why is therapy important? And all of that. And Pastor Biola did a fantastic job yesterday. If you were not logged in yesterday, I would advise that you go back and look at that session because it was impactful. My name is Diane Kalu, founder of WiCare Lekota Foundation, and this program is an initiative of WiCare Lekota Foundation to be able to bring awareness around the importance of parenting to everyone that comes across this video. And we've treated several topics so far. You can check out our page if you want to know more. This conference happens, or this workshop happens every year around this time. So sit back. Our facilitator, our amazing facilitator, has been here for a long time. Once again, we want to apologize for kicking off late. Nigeria happened to us today. So, but Nigeria is getting better. And so we are going straight into the session today. Our beautiful facilitator was here a while back, and she did a fantastic job. I think she after that, a lot of questions came. I think one of the questions I remember came from a mother whose child, I don't know if you remember, but that 2 years ago when you were here with us, a mother had a child who her boy was exposed to screen and then was behaving abnormally. He was, now going as far as he couldn't hold himself, and then he started to do, certain things, and we were able to help that woman by answering her questions. I'm not sure you remember that conversation. So we're going right ahead into this session. I'll just read the profile we have. Cynthia Obuleze is a certified counselor, certified child protection advocate, and a sex ed expert. I'm sure you guys didn't know there were people like that. She helps teach parents on how to talk to their children about sex in a shame-free way that strengthens family bond without those awkwardness that comes with the chore. It's indeed a chore. In a sexualized world such as the one that we live in, Cynthia has developed a system for introducing sexuality education from cradle. She is the author of the best-selling guide, Family Sexual Safety Plan, and the Sex Conscious Kids Workshop. She's married and blessed with 3 champions. Please, a round of applause for our amazing facilitator. Thank you so much, Cynthia, for joining us today. We appreciate you and head right into what you have for us today. Thank you.
All right, good evening, everyone. It's confirmed you can hear me, so I can just, at times it's fast length, but we're going to do something very meaningful. It's confirmed you can hear me again, so I can go right in.
Yes, they can hear you. If they can't, I'll just let you know. Please, if you can't hear any of us, either of us, kindly put in the comment section and I'll give her the feedback. So go ahead. I'll just gather the feedback from here.
Okay, so good evening, everyone, and welcome again. And I hope we're having a beautiful weekend. Today we're talking about sex. Yes, I love to talk about it. When Diane introduced me, she said, I help parents talk to the children about sex in a shame-free way and also in a way that brings about family bonding. We all know that sex is one topic that is most dreaded for reason I cannot say, for reason I can't tell. But today, before we go into this session, I'd like to ask us, what does sex education mean to you? If you can drop it in the comments, please, I would like us to be engaging. What does sex education mean to you? When you hear the word sex education, what readily comes to mind? What does sex education mean to you? All right, while you're putting that down, I'll also say some things. Some persons, when they hear the word sex education, they start thinking about sexual intercourse. Then, when you talk about sex education, what really comes to mind to some persons are abstinence. Some persons, when you talk about sexual education, what comes to their mind is sexual purity. But sex education in itself is all encompassing. Sex education means teaching your children body anatomy, sexual health, puberty, name it. It's not just sex and intercourse. Sex education means total wholeness. You're teaching the child body autonomy, boundary, consent, and a whole lot of it. That is what sex education entails. It's not just a portion. It's not about sexual intercourse. It's not about abstinence. It's not about sexual purity, but a whole lot more. So I can't see your comments, but I will just continue. And I know you must have dropped something there. So sex education generally means teaching your children body anatomy, how to take care of themselves, body awareness, consent, boundaries, um, puberty, and the rest. Now, dear parents, I want to ask you, who should sex educate your child? Who should sex educate your child? I will take us back to Proverbs 22, verse 6, which says, train up a child in the way that he should go, that when he grow up, he will not depart from it. Here, the Bible already knows that a child has been given to us, the parents, to take care. So every education, sex education is one. Every education a child needs should come first from the parents. And now there is something about the law of first mention. The law of first mention states that if you're the first person in your child's life to communicate sex and sexuality to your child, you will be the go-to authority for every of your child's sexual sex and sexuality questions. That's the law of first mention. Now, if you delegate this work to the teachers in the school, or you delegate this work to your children's church teachers, it means you're getting it wrong. When you're the first person to sex educate your child, what you're simply doing is laying the ground foundation. Each time I go for programs, some parents say, I beg, the kid we won't spoil, go spoil. Of a truth, the kid we won't spoil, go spoil. But then what have you done? What foundation have you laid? Let's talk about building a house. You want to build a house, you don't start stacking the block. How you know a good house is from the foundation. So for you to talk about sex at your child's teenage age, it means that you must have solidified the foundation. And here, one of the questions people ask me most of the time is, when should I start educating my child, sex educating my child? Sex education should start from the cradle. As soon as your child can talk, you should start sex educating your child. And one of the reasons for sex educating your child is to teach your children God's design for sex. The basic thing is to teach your children God's design outside teaching them boundaries, consent, relationship, puberty, and all that. Is to teach them categorically God's design for sex. We know we are living in a world where um, a man will want to go to bed with a man, a woman wants to go to bed with a woman. In fact, I read one Gen Z article where they said they define sexuality. Sexuality is no more about the femaleness or maleness. They define sexuality as who you go to bed with. That's how they term it, the Gen Z term of explaining sexuality. That sexuality means who you go to bed with. It doesn't matter if you're a man going to bed with a man. It doesn't matter if you're a woman going to bed with a woman. But it means who you go to bed with, that is who your sexuality is. But that is not God's design for sex. Dear parents, for you to even start having this conversation with your children, I want to ask, are you sexually intelligent? Most of the time, we learn about social intelligence, we learn about spiritual intelligence, we learn about, name all the kind of intelligence that you can talk of, but we skip sexual intelligence. Who will do that for us? We are our children's primary sexuality educator, and the work is on us. And before I continue, I want to state it here. I don't know, my slide is not up. I needed us to see this particular slide. On this slide, I stated it. Sex is not demonic. Sex is good. Sex is good. Sex is good. Let me recite it again. Sex is not demonic. Sex is good. Sex is good. Sex is good. The reason why children will go behind and want to experiment or dabble around the issue of sex is because we have hidden this thing so much. We don't want these children to know. And we feel that these children don't know this thing. Let me bust your bubble. They know more than you. That thing you are scared of, oh, if I teach my child now, or if I start talking about it, my child might go ahead to experiment. Hello? The parents in the childbearing industry. Let your children know that sex is not demonic. We should stop demonizing sex. When you teach them what sex is and how it should be done in the right place, it shouldn't be a problem to us. Your children are sexual beings. From the age of 0, for those of us that have male children, from the age of 0, as soon as the child is born, the male children, when they wake up from sleep and they stretch, as little as they are, you see erection. What is that telling you? It means your children are sexual beings and they have emotion. So why dodge the topic of sex from them? Now, I will tell us why this issue of sex is somehow to us. Now, let's talk about parental mind block. Let's talk about parental mind block. Some of us, we don't want to engage in this topic because of the way we were brought up. Because of the way we were brought up. Some of us, growing up, sex is like a taboo to us. We don't want to mention it anywhere. We don't want our children to hear it. In fact, when they are doing kissing on the next thing you hear is, shut the TV, we start screaming. Some of us might not want to have this talk about sex, probably because while we're growing up, we're abused and it's sort of heavy to us. And if you are here on this call today, while growing up, if you were abused, I want to tell you this. You cannot give your child a proper sex education if you have not healed. I was abused in the church at the age of 9 inside the Reverend Father's office. I share my story a lot not because I want everyone to know about my sexual past, but it's a lesson. Each time I share this, even in schools with children, I hear parents coming out to talk about how they were sexually abused. If you were abused as a child and you have not healed, please do well to see a therapist. Let me state it again. If you are here and you were abused as a child and you have not healed, it will hinder and affect the way you communicate about sex to your children. It is very important that you seek help. I couldn't talk about my story. I couldn't share my story before now because it was quite heavy. But when I sought help, I went for therapy and I went through the process. Some of us, ours might be gory. We don't want to think about it, but hey, you just have to. For the sake of your children, for you to be able to have good sexual conversations with your child, you must heal. Because if you don't heal, you will give your child half knowledge. And half knowledge is quite dangerous. I have a parent one time that came in counseling. The lady was abused as a child and she has 3 girls. In fact, because of this abuse, this lady does not want the children to play with boys. This lady does not want the children to even come out and associate with their mates. And the children are asking questions. The mom has no genuine reason why these children should not play with boys. So you see, these children are already having a different orientation concerning boys. They are forming their own orientation concerning boys with the way their mom is handling the whole thing. So I asked her to come for counseling, and she said she will, but she didn't return. But I pray God helps her. It's going to affect the way she talk about sex with her children. Another thing is, I hear most parents say, "Oh, I'm not an expert. I don't know how to say this. I don't know how to even put it." If you don't know how
Hello,
to say it,
can
go
I
play
say
with your
something?
friend.
I'm sorry.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. But you said you hope she's able to talk about sex with her children. That's if she actually talks about it. She probably will
It will be
never.
difficult. It will be difficult.
Yeah.
I encouraged her, but she
Mm,
said it's quite heavy. But the truth is, it might be heavy, yes. But for the sake of your children, you must heal. You don't have a choice because you already have those people on earth. You need to
mhm.
heal. If you can't heal, you will bleed on those that did not injure you.
Yes.
And that is the truth. And so some other parents, they have this mindset of, I'm not an expert. I can't have that. You don't need to be an expert. Now we are experts in picking ashwebi. How do we do this? We quickly go to Google, we quickly go to Pinterest, we check for the latest, and boom, we already know what you want to do. But when it comes to the topic of sex, you now start saying, oh, we are not experts. You don't need to be an expert. All you need is Google. And if you feel you can't do this, you have us here. We have sex ed experts. We have people that can help talk to your children early enough about sex. It is important that you be the first person to talk to your children about sex. And we see this a whole lot. We see parents jumping into the life of their teenagers and they say, oh, this girl is already bringing out breast balls. This boy is already having deep voice. I think it's time to have the sex conversation. Let me bust your bubble. I've been working with teenagers for the past 7 years and more. These children will not give you listening ears. A child you're not in their life in the cradle will not give you attention when you come into their teenage age because you want to preach to them. They will not hear you. So for you to talk to them about sex during their teen age, you need to start from the cradle. As soon as your child can talk, as soon as your child can mention mama, papa, as soon as your child can talk, you start. At the end of this conversation, I'll teach us how to have this conversation. Let's move on. Now, I need to state why you should have this conversation with your children. Now, what is the statistics saying? So there was a survey among sexual activities reported among secondary school children. 88% have experienced deep kissing. 76% are already touching each other's genitals. I see that a whole lot. because I go for programs in public secondary and primary schools. Touching partners' genitals, their mates, 95% are already touching themselves. That is a form of masturbation. 68% are already giving oral sex. We should not be scared. For those of us that have not started having this conversation, I think this statistic should be able to shake us up a bit. That is if we have not started. Now, 55% are already having vaginal sex. 22% are having anal sex. So this one is not just hearsay. This research was done among secondary school children, and these percentages were found. Are you not scared, dear parents? If you are not having this conversation, please, what are you waiting for?
Please, can you repeat it again? So I'm not sure the people at the back heard you.
88% of these secondary school children are already deep kissing. 76% are touching each other's genitals. 95% are touching themselves in the form of masturbation. 66%, 65% are already giving oral sex. 55% are already having vaginal sex. And 22% are already having anal sex. Now, last year, I had a girl that came in for session for pornography addiction issues. And during the session, she confessed to, allowing boys touch her inside the classroom. Inside the classroom, they just put their hand in the skirt. At times, she calls the boys, they go somewhere, they press her breast, and they do all that. What are we not telling our children? Now, for you to have this conversation with your child, you must be what? Sexually intelligent. So what is sexual intelligence for parents? I define sexual intelligence for parents. It involves having a good understanding of sexuality, relationships, and consent, and using this knowledge to guide and support your children as they navigate their own sexual lives, which in turn help them make healthy sexual decisions. Not just getting this knowledge. In fact, Diane, if not for you, most times I don't even like engaging parents anymore, because they will come, they will listen, and they will go back to their hosting life, forgetting the messages that have been sent to them to their children. They will just take it, wrap it up, put it somewhere, and continue hustling. So what I now do, I know that parents will have to buy courses for their children, especially their teenagers. So I'm now concentrating on them. Their parents will be all right, last. So now I go directly to my children. I write directly to them. So please buy books for them. When you see such books, buy and give to them. And to those parents too that can't have those conversations, or they feel that it's too hectic, it is an opportunity and a venue to have this conversation. In my new book that just came out, The Sexually Intelligent Teenager, if you have teenagers, please get this book. It's very important. If you have not started the conversation, it's a good way to start. You put in the hands of your teenagers, and you ask, oh, have you read this book? What chapter are you on? Can we have a conversation around the chapter you have read? You have started. That is a way. So having sexual intelligence is not just reading on Google, going for workshops, gathering this knowledge. It's about using what you have learned to support and guide your children so that it will be able to help them make healthy sexual decisions. Now, a quote I said, every sexually intelligent parent must have their family values. I repeat, every sexually intelligent parent must have their sexual values. Where there is no sexual values, there is no sex conversation. What's the basis of the conversation? You must have what you stand by before you have this conversation. Therefore, you need your family sexual values. And also, if you're on this call today and you're having issues or you don't know what family sexual values are, I will need you to get my guide, the Family Sexual Safety Plan. It will guide you and help you form your own family sexual safety plan. Now, what are the strategies for developing and maintaining sexual intelligence as a parent? You need to stay informed. Dear parents in the childbearing ministry, you need to stay informed. The knowledge you got yesterday, I'm sorry you cannot use it today. Training the 21st century child is not as easy as you think. You need to stay informed. We are hearing Gen Z up and down. Gen Z with them. Get the knowledge. Know what is happening. Secondly, you need to be open-minded. You need to be open-minded. Thank you, Diane, so much for putting up programs like this. There are some persons, what they have learned 3, 4, 10 years ago is what they are still applying now. Meanwhile, the world have left them. You need to be open-minded, ready to learn. You need to be honest. If you know you don't know, it is not a crime. As parents, we are not supposed or expected to know everything. No, we are not expected to know everything. Be honest and open. I don't know this. How can I ask questions? It will help you. Ask questions. As a parent, you need to model healthy behavior. You cannot be saying, oh, I don't want my child to watch pornography. But what are you doing on your phone? And the funny thing about this whole thing is, you might say, oh, I've deleted those things I watch, but there is something called algorithm. The algorithm will bring similar things of, even if you have deleted it. That is the world of the internet that we are in right now. Algorithm will bring to your children's view those things that you have been watching. So be careful. Be ready to model healthy behavior in your attitude, in your act, in what you watch, and in all you do. Dear parents of the 21st century child, you need to listen. As African parents that we are, we love to talk and talk and talk. And these children, they want to listen, but there is something called effective communication. Effective communication simply means talking and listening. My beloved African parents, please do well. When you talk, always get feedback. Do not be the only one that if you do that, you will lose out on these children. And the conversation will not be effective. So one of the key of sex conversation is effective communication. Where there is no effective communication, sorry, you have lost out. So you must learn to listen and also get feedback. You must be supportive. Your children in this time, they are going through a lot. In fact, some of them are even coming back from a lot. You need to be supportive. I have seen situations where some children, we as adults, we make mistakes. Growing up, we make mistakes, and we don't even want to use our mistakes to teach our children. Some of us want to form Jagaban, want to form the perfect parent. We are not perfect. Only the Lord our God is perfect. So what I do is this. When my child is going through something, I always bring back my younger self. I use myself as example. Even in the times I make mistakes, I share it a whole lot. I've talked about the time I stole that my mother put pepper in my eyes, and they laughed, and we talked about the values surrounding that. I talked about when I had a crush with with an older with an older man. I shared with them. They laughed, but values and lessons have been learned. At this time we have some of our children that are in this crush stage. If you had a crush, there is no sin in it. Share with them. That way you are showing support. They will know that, oh, mommy actually experienced what I experienced. Do you understand? So don't just be too close. Support them. Encourage open communication. Some of us in our home, we are the alpha and the omega, the Margaret Thatchers, where you say, woo, the children are all over. That way you will lose out on them. You cannot have an effective sex conversation in that environment. You need to encourage open communication. Ask questions. Even when they are not talking to you, ask questions. Then you need to build stronger family bonds. How do you do this? There are ways by which you can build a stronger family bond. How do you do this? By being present and involved. I know the life that we live in is so fast, and everyone is busy, everyone is trying to make ends meet, but that does not stop you from being present. I tell parents all of the time, you see, 15 minutes undivided attention every day is not much, but it can do a whole lot. 15 minutes, not with your phone, not on your laptop, not with anything. Undivided attention. Ask questions. How has your day been? What happened in school? Okay, who is having crush now? Ask questions and let that moment be undivided attention. Give them, throw your phone somewhere, lock it up in your room. That 15 minutes, hold it there. This should also help your children to be open to you. Do well to have regular family meetings. When you have regular family meetings, you are opening up communication. Your home will not be too stiff. And when I mean family meeting where you have appoint one person to be secretary, appoint one person to be the person that will share snacks and all that. Your family, that's like meeting. And your family meeting is a place where is a no judgment zone. It's a place where your last child can tell you, oh mommy, you did this the other day. I'm actually not happy about it. This is not right. Have family meetings. Another one is do movie night. This is another way to tense the environment for you to be able to have effective sex communication. If it's possible, if it is, I know it's doable, and I'm saying if it is possible because in the time we live in now is so fast and the time is running. Do well to have individual time with each of your child. You can do a collective family thing, but do well to have individual time. You will know your child individually. There are some things, the parents may say, oh, I know this. You might not know them intimately. There are some personal questions you can have with them when you're having different times with them. Also, do well to drop love notes. All the tips I'm giving are tips to help you bond and move closer to be able to have effective communication as a sexually intelligent parent. Write love notes. It is so hard for African parents to tell their children, I love you. In my home, it's I love you is it flies everywhere. We are huggers. I hug a lot. I hug a lot. So my kids, they hug a lot. That's in the home. We are open. Talk about any and everything. So when your child is going through a time, maybe if, during their crush moments and all that, they'll be able to have those conversations with you. Dear parents, I want to ask you, what kind of child do you want to build sexually? Do you want to build a mansion or do you want to build a shanty? When you want to build a mansion, you need to draw your plans. You need to get the architect involved. You need to involve all those people that will make your the mansion stand out right. So, as a parent, what kind of child are you grooming sexually? For you to groom a mansion, it means that you need to lay down structures that your family will follow, that these children will go through. And what are these structures? Your family sexual values. Your family sexual values. Very, very important. And what will these values help you do? It will help you teach them God's design for sex. When I start my sexual stories with them, I always take them back to the creation story, which is very, very important. And that is where we should start from. Let our children know that they are sexual beings. Let them know that at a certain point, especially during their preteens and teenage age, they will have this rush of emotions. They'll have this raging hormone. They'll start feeling this need of, oh, I need compliments from boys. Let them know that it is normal. Let them know that it is very normal. And dear parents, you cannot pray your children's emotions away. I have last year I had this mother that told me that he took the son for deliverance because the boy was having a crush on a girl. Dear parents, your children are sexual beings. And I know during your time, you might not know the name that is crush, but you once had crush. So your child is going through a crush and you're taking them for deliverance. I really don't know why. Be open and let them know. Why should you have your sexual values? Your sexual values involve um, what do you want your family to stand for? When I go out to talk to parents, I don't just say, okay, you must not have sex before marriage. Why? Because some family believe in safe sex. Some other families believe in abstinence. Some other family believe in sexual purity. But I teach sex education from the Bible. So every time, every day, I teach sexual purity. And I let my audience know that sexual purity will exalt you anytime, any day. And it is very important. So how and what can you do concerning your family sexual values? Your family sexual values entails how your family wants to dress, how they want to dress. You teach them about God's design for marriage. You talk to them also about relationships. I know some families are encouraging male-male relationship, that's male-male sexual relationship, female-female sexual relationship. So what do you want your family to be known for? As soon as you open my door, you're going into my house. The first thing that greets you is my family sexual values and my family values, which is our mission, vision, our goal, our values, and our tagline. And on the other side, you have our family sexual values. It's not enough for you to say this thing. Oh, we are this family, we are not. No. Habakkuk 2 mentioned it. Write the vision, make it plain that those who read may run. So if you are here today and you have not put together your family sexual plan, please do well. Get the family sexual safety plan and the sex ed planner for ages 0 to 18. It will help you build up. And also talking about in your family sexual plan, you should have your dating rules. We have some people, some families, their dating is from the age of 13. Some will say 18, some will say 21. What are you telling your children? Do they know about the dating rules in your home? Do they know about friendship? Do they know about sexual purity? Most especially, we need to teach our children about sexual purity. Very, very vital. And now, how can you have this conversation? From the ages of 0 to 2, you talk to them about their body anatomy. That's where you're teaching them their eyes, their head, their nose, and all that. From the ages of 3 to 5 is the curiosity age. This is where they're asking you, oh, mommy, why is my penis small? Why is this person penis big? Why is this person having a vagina? Why am I not having a vagina? Is the curiosity age where they want to play with their penis, they want to touch themselves to know, explore their sexuality. That's the ages of 3 to 5, the curious age. Ages 6 to 8, this is when they start having those their crushes. Their parents, you need to teach them how to handle their crushes. In fact, in my book that is coming up, Crush Your Crush, that's the title, Crush Your Crush, where I'm talking about the crusher, the crushee, and the crushed. Since our parents have refused to teach them this, watch out for that book and do well to get it when it comes out. So the ages of 6 to 8 is where you'll be hearing lots of crush. In fact, I just finished a program for teenagers, over 78 teenagers, when we did our gender session, and we're talking about crushes. One person is having close to 15 crushes. What is happening? They were just typing the names of their crushes in the comment section. Oh, the name of my crush is this. And the funny thing is, their parents have no idea of the emotions that their children are going through. You see the reason why you need to actually stay close to your children. You see the reason why you really need to connect. Now, a child, like I mentioned earlier, a child you don't have connection with, you cannot sex educate. So connection is one, relationship is the second. For you to have a perfect sex conversation, there must be connection and there must be relationship. So we move to ages 9 to 12. For the ages of 9 to 12, this is when the preteen to teen age, the breastbud and the rest of all that have started coming out. Emotions flying here and there. It is time for you to teach them about hygiene, teach them about their body, how to stay clean. It's time to teach them that what they are going through is not abnormal. You are feeling need for somebody to affirm you, it's normal. But then is at this critical stage, it's where you need to teach them to love themselves, not to live by other people's validation. I go to secondary school, I see girls falling for boys that told them, I love you. Simple, I love you. Their parents tell your children, especially girl children, lots and lots of affirmation. Very important. Lots. I know. I'm not saying the boy child does not need it. I have a boy at home. If you don't open your mouth to tell him I love you, peck, hug is an issue. So the boys still need the care. But for the girls, they need lots of affirmation. Because right now we are having girls that are having lots of body image issues because of those things they see on social media. Let them know that these things are not real. We are having the last year boot camp we had for teenagers. We had girls that came to camp with a box for, even as an adult, I don't even know if I have face cream. They have up to 5 coming out from the bathroom. They'll take like 30 minutes. They will apply one facial cream. They want to, I'm not saying don't look good, but don't do these things so that other people will validate you. So this is the age where they do this. You have to be mindful and intentional when having this conversation with them. From the ages of 13 and above, their parents, we are having lots of them that are already engaging in sexual acts. It is not unlikely. And I'm not saying that we don't have children that are free and are still pure. We still do have them. But their parents, before your own child is being misguided, do the needful. Open your mouth and talk to them about sex. It doesn't hurt. It doesn't bite. And at this age, ages 13 and above, your child needs to have other people in their lives, not just you. Ages 13 and above, your child needs to have another adult that will serve as their mentor or their coach or their accountability partner. Let me tell you the reason why. At this age, you are the fourth person in their life. You are in the fourth floor. Their peers, they will listen to their peers first. The advice and everything their peers give, that's what they will listen to first. The second, they will listen to pop culture. The third, they will listen to other adults that they are looking up to in their life before they even listen to you, their parents. Their parents, you now see your position. From this age, you have moved to the fourth floor. From the ages of 0 to 5, you are in the first floor. This is the age at which you can capture and teach and lay your foundation. If they have entered this age 13 and above, I'm sorry, you have been relegated to the fourth floor. That's just the way it is. So you should take note. Before they get to this age, make sure you have done your homework and you have done the needful. Very important. And I know we are picking one or two things from all those things that I've been saying. And so I will conclude by saying that a sexual intelligent parent must be a fellow parent. When I say a fellow parent, it means that you must be present, you must be available, you must have listening ears, and you must be observant. You should see sex conversation zone as a no judgment zone. When it comes to having sex conversation with your children, no judgment zone. Just be open. Whatever comes out from their heart, whatever they say, be open to receive it. Don't be too quick to jump in to judge. The moment you do that, you have lost them. So as a sexual intelligent parent, you must be up to date with sexual knowledge and must have resources to follow through. You don't just come to workshops and go like that. Do well to get resources. When it comes to sexual conversation, it is very important as a parent to be updated. And I'm saying again, if you are yet to have your family sexual plans, family sexual values rather, do well to get the family sexual safety plan. It will help you. And also, you don't know how to have this conversation from the ages of 0 to 18. We've helped you with the sexuality education planner for the ages of 0 to 18. And my newest book, which is The Sexually Intelligent Teenager, this is a handbook that every parent with teen or teenager should get for their children. And lastly, I want to talk to us about this four gates that we must teach our children to protect when it comes to sex and sexuality, because we know that the media will sell so much to them, the adverts, the internet, and even their peers. But you need to teach them to protect these four gates: their eye gate, their mouth gate, their ear gate, and their heart gate. Do not forget the reason why the Bible says we should guard the heart with all diligence. Out of this place comes the issue of life. So we need to teach our children how to protect these four gates: eye gate, ear gate, the mouth gate, and the heart gate. What they see with their eyes. And that is what sexual purity encompasses. So sexual purity is not about um, penis in vagina. That's what we are teaching our children. And we have expert virgins. When I mean expert virgins, I mean children that have not had penetration, but they've had all manner of it. Name it. So we need to teach them how to secure and keep safe their mouth gate, their eye gate, their ear gate, and their heart gate. Very, very important. Mouth gate, eye gate, ear gate, and their heart gate. All these are the ways by which this sex and sexuality things come into them. What they do with their hands, what they see with their eyes, what they hear with their ears, and what they do. All this goes into the heart, their subconscious, to sink in. Dear parents of the childbearing ministry, with these few points of mine, I hope I've been able to communicate to you that as a 21st century parent, for you to have a meaningful sex conversation, you must be sexually intelligent and must have tools to go about it. Thank you very much.
Oh my God. This is, you know how they say firecracker? You just came and took us like up there. You know how we're all hanging there and you dropped us and now we're all floating. Wow. Wow. Thank you so much. This was so short and concise. Like just up to it's scary. You said you were going to teach us what to do about the crushing stage. Please, I'm very interested. I'm very interested in
The crush. The book is coming out soon. The crusher, the crushy, and the crushed.
I'm very interested in that part. So please go ahead and share. I mean, my notes is full. I promise you, I need to go back and listen to this message again. As you were talking, I was asking myself, which one am I not doing?
Okay, about the crush thing.
Yeah, so if your child is crushing on someone, because I know we have a lot of preteens and teenage parents here. And I remember even myself, there was one boy like that I used to crush on. I can't remember, primary 6. So how can parents handle this, effectively without, kind of like putting that fear in their children's heart?
You need to start by, even if you don't have a crush, if you had one growing up, it's a good place to start. Like I told my children, I was just 9 and I was crushing on one senior bros in his 20s. So in my small mind, I was like, God, how wish this guy would just come to my house and tell my parents that, oh, I want to marry this girl. But guess what? I saw this guy of recent. I was like, what? No, this can't be my crush. So we need to let them know that this crushing thing is an emotion that is a phase that will actually pass. It does not last.
Okay.
They shouldn't hold on to it. So you can start the conversation if you have a story to share from yours. I usually do that with mine to let them know that growing up as a child, I experienced what you experienced, so it's not new. So when you are going through this thing, it's a normal thing, but it's a phase. And also, when you're teaching them this, do well to talk to them about boundaries. We have seen where children, foolishness abound in the heart of children. They are crushing or crushing, you're liking. Before you know it, they cross to touching each other and all that. So while you are crushing your crush, teach them about boundaries and consent. Very
Okay.
important. Let them know that it's not a crime,
So that's
right?
my next question. How do you teach the boundaries? How do you teach,
Yes, you're having a crush with someone. You can let mommy know. That's where it starts from. And they can only let you know if you have a connection with them, if you have a good relationship with them. You cannot be a Margaret Thatcher mommy and expect this child to come and share with you. The child does not want the head to be broken. So you need to be very connected and have good conversation with your children.
Mm-hmm.
So it's that easy. It's that easy. When the child in my home is normal thing. Last week we talked about who is crushing on who. My daughter said, I know your crush, Esther. Esther is your crush, and this person, yeah, even you in the church, I know this person. This one came, oh no, it's just my friend. We have this conversation. Then we bring about talking about boundaries. You shouldn't be in a private space with this person that you claim you like. Don't be in private spaces with them. Whenever you want to talk, ensure you're in an open space where everyone can see you. Don't hold hands too much. I'm not saying don't give high fives and all that, but be careful. Do not exceed and do well to ask. Can I hold your hand? Can I hug you? Always ensure you ask questions. Don't say, oh, this person knows I like them, so I'll go ahead and start touching. No, it's not allowed. So teaching them about consent, teaching them about boundaries are ways where you can have this crush conversation in a very simple way.
Okay. Thank you so much. And just to also add to what you just said, like my own little experience. So when I was teaching my children about sex, when I first started teaching them about sex, now in my house, it's like when you just start the conversation, you're hearing, "Ew, mommy, it's okay." Don't everybody's like, I can't even believe mommy is starting this conversation. Like, mommies aren't supposed to be starting this conversation. Mommies are supposed to be quiet. So what I did was I started with a 3D video of on YouTube. I went to YouTube and I played a video of the semen traveling down the the vagina and into the uterus and all of that. And at the end of that video, like they saw how I showed them, it was a kids video, teaching children about reproduction. Okay. So when they watched that video, my end point of sharing that video with them was that this is how powerful you are. One drop of semen from you is able to create a human being. When they saw the millions of spermatozoas swimming, I said, "This is you." That's how powerful, and that's why you cannot share it everywhere. It is special. It's a special gift. So, I mean, for someone who is wondering, hey, YouTube is your friend. Instagram, they are sharing all these very educative videos. I usually do that. Once I see a video, they already know. When I say, guys, come, you sit down and watch the video, we'll talk about it. But one thing I noticed, I observed is, especially for teenagers, when you're playing a video for them, don't think that they are understanding it like you. They're looking at the video, but they can't see it. You have to play like twice or three times before you now ask, what did you see? And they are able to, identify or talk about it. And then another thing you talked about that I really liked was, buying books and doing book review. We do book review. We do it a lot in my house. One, it helps you to know the much your children know. So book reviews are important, even if it's once in a month. Very important. You might not finish the whole book. In fact, use it as your punishment. You know, there is positive reinforcement. And you can use book reviews as your positive reinforcement. Eventually, they'll get used to it. You say, hey, today, because you've done this thing, we're going to review no gadgets, we're going to review books. Okay. I wanted to say something on device usage a little. You know, I know that some parents will tell me, but I have to go to work and I need to give my children phone and be able to you know, talk to them when I'm at work. Why so why shouldn't I allow them to have phones? You understand? That lady, I don't know if you remember that lady, but that lady from that 2 years ago, all of what she went through started when she gave that boy a mobile device. So please, can you tell us a little what sex or what being exposed to, like pornography or even images, sexual images, what it does to the brain for other parents to know? I mean, I have that information. I've shared it. They know. In fact, once you just bring it to my house, they can give you a whole lecture on it. You know, but for the sake of the people that are here, you know, and like you said, it says, train up a child in the way he should go. You are the one to give the training. If you get this information and pocket it somewhere, my sister, God will ask you for it. God is gonna come to you. Please don't let ego or shame, because I know some parents, when they come and meet me and say, oh, I know that thing you said, it really made sense. Like you said, they will go and pocket it. If anything goes wrong with that child, you will be the one to be asked about that child. You're gonna answer, you know, the questions. And just before you answer that question, something came to my mind. I was like, should I share? Should I not share? I said, okay, let me just came back now. And what I wanted to share, I shared it in the community, is about this youthful exuberance relationships. It starts with, first of all, sex, because they think when they have sex is the binder. So they assume that, oh, I'm bound to this person, I love this person. And some people who have been exposed to extreme cases, Nollywood sins, they now decide that they want to have blood covenants. My dear, if you're on this call and you haven't given that awareness to your child about blood covenants, say, God forbid, it's not my child. God forbid. God forbid is not risk management. You might not teach your child, somebody else from outside. And don't say, oh, my child is 22. Even that your 22-year-old child is still a baby, right? There are many things you don't know. So get the word out there. Tell them, in plain terms, blood covenant is dangerous and it's a destiny killer. It's a destiny destroyer. You cannot have wholeness with it. So I just wanted to put that out there. I have shared with a couple of people. It's important that I mention it here. But even if you're a parent and you've had blood covenant, there is a way to take it out, and it's by the blood of Jesus. Okay, so go ahead and share a little, as we are rounding up, a little about devices, obscene sexual sins, what it does to the brain, and the damaging effects, and how we can help people. I really love your session. I really.
All right. So, parents that are on this call today, as a parent, you dare not give your child a car without teaching the child to drive, right? So why give your child the world? That is how I put it. You give your child the world Your child is having the world on the palm inside your house. That your child cannot step out of your house, but your child has gone round the globe with just that thing that is placed on their hands, meeting visitors that even you cannot even meet. Their legs are already entering into rooms where you don't even think of because you placed a gadget on their hand. Since you cannot give a child a car without teaching them to drive, why give your child a phone without teaching them the usefulness? Teaching them there are ways, just the way we go to school, we go to university. There are reasons why we go to school, right? So you're giving your child a phone. If you want to communicate with your child, you can do with a phone that is not internet enabled. But if you must give your child a phone that is internet enabled, it means you have a media plan in your home. And if you're on this call, you don't have a media plan and you've given your child a phone, do well to take the phone because you are on a dangerous path. Now, talking about um, obscene pictures, about pornographic pictures, and the rest of them. When I go to schools and I ask these children, especially to those parents that used to say, "Oh, my child does not have a phone. My child is Your child does not have a phone, but your child have friends that have phones that are internet enabled. They are showing them things that you don't even know. Some of them said the first pornographic picture they saw was on their parents' phone. I remember saying something about the algorithm when I was having this session. I mentioned that some parents might have viewed some things, and when you're off that particular site, when your child is with the phone on their own, freely, algorithm will bring those pictures, similar things to what you have watched. The reason why I said be careful. Now, how can you help your child? At times, these things might come not by their making. They might be doing assignments or doing research, and these things pop up. Pornographic picture. I mentioned about teaching them to protect their eyes. There is something I call ACT. Once they see those kind of pictures, nude pictures, naked pictures, or videos, they should act. Avert your eyes, number one. That is A. C. Call it what it is. This thing is porno. And T. Run to tell a trusted adult. Because the prefrontal cortex is not well developed, that thing that they have seen, they cannot process it. As soon as they see that thing, what their brain is telling them is, come and see more, come and see more, come and see more. The reason why a child that has seen this image will be longing to see more pictures of those similar kind of images. So you need to teach them what they do. Either they see it by accident, either someone shows it to them. They should ACT. Avert their eyes. Remove their eyes from it immediately. Call it what it is. This is fun. This is bad pictures. This, call the name. Call it what it is. And T, they should remove their eyes. Now, it's unfortunate that we couldn't share slides. There is a picture I would have shown you of the picture of a brain that is a porn addicted brain and a brain that is taking drugs. The brain of a porn addict is worse than the brain of a person taking drugs. That is how bad these bad pictures can damage your children's brain. Now we're even talking about adult brain. Now, even at your child at 22, their prefrontal cortex is not fully developed. Why do you think these children act before they do? Why do you think teenagers, they act on impulse? They act before they think. They know that this thing they want to engage in is not good, but they will go ahead to do it. Then at the end of the day, they'll be filled with regret because their prefrontal cortex is not well developed. I'm not giving excuses for them. I'm not saying a child of 13, 14 cannot act right, but I'm just telling you the normal thing that is. That part of their thinking brain is not fully developed. So if you allow them see these pictures and you don't teach them what to do when they see these pictures, it becomes dangerous to their health. So their parents, even as you are putting this on their hand, do well to have a media plan. For adventure, you come across their phone and you see something of this. Do you have a contract plan in your home? If I see this, or this is what will happen. The phone will be taken away. The child will sign, you will sign. It is called a contract plan. That is, if you have given your child a gadget that is internet enabled, you must have a contract plan. If they default in any of those things in your rule, you have every right to do what needs to be done. And for you to even give a child a phone, you must have a media plan. There are places in your home where this gadget should not be taken to. On the dining, they shouldn't be seen with it. In the toilet, these are part of the things that should be contained in your media plan. Most times, these children go to the toilet to watch pornographic. They know that if they do it anywhere around the house, you might stumble on them. They will go to the toilet. That is where most of them start watching their pornographic pictures and videos from. Then you leaving your child with their phone overnight in their room is another one. So I cannot decide for you, and I cannot say anything around this. But you, as a family, you need your family media plan to implement all these that I have said. There, and hope I answered the question.
Yes, you did. You did. You did. Thank you. So, I wish we don't worry, we're bringing you back. Well, we have to bring you back, and it has to be physical. This session, the next session you're going to have with us has to be physical, honestly, because I'm not sure this thing is talked about enough. Now, let me also share something that I know that can help a parent who is watching. The story of Sodom and Gomorrah in the Bible. A lot of people just skip that story, but you could actually use that story to teach them about, to teach children about perversion. To, like you said, what did you call it? First mention something. You called it
Law of first mention.
law
The
of
law of
first
first mention.
mention. So if you use the book of, is it Exodus or Deuteronomy, one of them, to teach them about the perversion that we're experiencing in the world today and how abnormal it is and what some of the things that God did and all of that. Because if you remember in that story of Lot's wife, when Abraham went there, right? Or something like that.
Yeah.
That the men came to, so they saw those angels that came to destroy the city. And those angels, the men of Sodom, came to Lot to say, bring them out. Do you understand? Bring the men out. Let's sleep with them. So with that, you first of all start teaching the children how abominable certain things are in the sight of God. Okay. I know we can stay here and talk about a whole lot, but I want to really appreciate you, Cynthia. Thank you so much for this very short and precise, and you hit the nail. You need to go, I'm sure you share the link with the parents in your community. You need to go and see. We have 114 of, I think, okay, no, 152 chats, nuggets that have been shared. So, ensure that you share the slides, share the link so that they can watch. I really do appreciate you. And watch out for our physical invite because we need it. We need it. And I even think by God's grace, if we're going to have our end of year children's whatever, we're going to bring you to, we'll work it out. So thank you so much. Thank you. We've come to the end of the session. I don't want to go. I just like, as I'm talking, it's like a lot of things are coming out of me. Say. And I'm like, we have to respect the time and close, so that people can come back tomorrow. Thank you so much. God bless you. We appreciate you. And we say, the where you have poured out from, it will be replenished, and we'll see in camera. In Jesus' name. And I decree over every child, that you will be preserved, and that God will give our parents the strength they need, the confidence they need, the boldness they need, the wisdom they need to make these decisions, to teach these children, the will, the desire, the hunger to bring up healthy children. It's one thing to even desire, it's another thing to move. You can desire a child who is so upright and so morally healthy and all that, but in many occasions, some parents don't have the willpower. And that's why we talked about the reason we brought you after the childhood trauma is simply because we wanted to let parents know if you had a certain issue when you were a child, like you had an abuse of some sort as a child, you're gonna be laid back or reluctant to speak about this, issue of sex to your children. So I pray for anyone who is struggling deep down, who is even still living in denial, or who is still ashamed of that experience. No, my darling, you don't have to be ashamed of it. You can come out of it. You can. See the array of amazing speakers we've brought for you. Just send us a DM, contact us, just let us know, oh, I need help. And trust me, there is a community of help waiting for you. Okay. Parenting is a big, big deal. And you can't parent, like we learned yesterday, from a place of trauma. And you can't parent from a place of unawareness. Like, I'm just a parent because I gave birth to my child, not because I have it as a skill. I keep telling people, parenting is a skill. And in that skill, we have branches. So the same way you write your CV and put team player, resilience, what are they? Emotional intelligence, leadership, good communication. What does your parenting resume say about you? What are the skills? When they say bring out your, and I think we should actually have that. When I say bring out your parenting resume, what are the skills that are there that you say, I can identify, okay, this one I have, this one I have. Now, I've just learned that sexual intelligence, I've never thought about it. I know there's spiritual intelligence, I know there's social intelligence, I know there's emotional intelligence, but I've never thought about, sexual intelligence, right? I've never thought of it as a thing. So now, when they say, are you sexually intelligent? You tick it. I've done this. And when you tick those skills, you need to tell us the things that you have done in that capacity.
Yeah.
I've done this, I've done this one, I've done this one, I've done this one, I've done this one. So thank you so much. This is so impactful, I must say. Thank you. I really appreciate you. God bless you. And
thank you.
End of our session today. Tomorrow, we're going to be talking about entrepreneurship for your child. Is it important for your child to be an entrepreneur? How can you give them that gift of entrepreneurship? It's just going to be, a simple conversation, but I implore you to be part of it. And as you do that, God will bless you. There's this man I follow on Facebook. His name is Seasway. I think is it Seasway or Seaway? Can't remember his first name. He was the first person that said that the greatest gift a parent will give their child is introducing them to entrepreneurship as early as possible. That whether the child decides in future not to move further with it, you as a parent, you've done that law of first mention again. When you mention them and bring the awareness around them, they now start understanding money, gradually financial literacy, and then they will start seeking to make their own money, not to work for somebody forever. Okay, so see you tomorrow. God bless you and have a good night.
Good night.
Good night. Bye bye.